If I had a nickel for every time evolution created a perfect apex predator that would last millions of years, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. Both with sharks and crocodiles, alligators. Which one's older? I think it looks like an alligator, right? Crocodiles are slightly older than alligators. Also, not just millions of years, they've lived over 200 million years. But comparing it to sharks, that ain't nothing. I just realized that obviously things that live in the ocean tend to be a lot older than things that live on land. When you set sail from Plymouth, England, and after 2 months at sea, miraculously find yourself in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Incredible. What are the odds? Crazy how 2 places an ocean away from each other can not only be named the same thing, but somehow I miraculously just went to both of them. Don't mind the fact that I was probably the person that named it. I feel like if I randomly set sail away from LA and spent 2 months out at sea, barely surviving, the last thing I would name this new land is LA. I would like to think I would come up with something a little bit more original. FIFA isn't that bad. Meanwhile, also FIFA, Mordor will host the 2030 World Cup, and I can't think of a better place to play soccer or football. I think the giant volcano in the background is just gonna make everything more scenic. We don't even gotta build a new stadium. We'll just put everyone up below the eye. Never ask a woman her age, a man his salary, or Imperial Japan, why we've known since WWII humans are 72% water. That is a very specific number there, Japan. It's almost like you had to wait. An anime depiction on what it's like to be Roosevelt on Mount Rushmore. Yeah. Just staring the. I wonder why he made it like that. Did he like run out of room and just have to pack him in? It's nice to confirm though, just like everything else, Mount Rushmore is a JoJo reference. What the normal public thinks peak communism is versus what geographers think peak communism is. And I gotta admit, it is quite literally the peak. Wait, is this in Afghanistan or Pakistan? Wait, neither of those. It's actually in Tajikistan, which of course was all under the Soviet Union, so maybe this shouldn't be that much of a surprise. It was the highest mountain in the Russian Empire and Soviet Union before Tajikistan became independent. Of course, Tajikistan did change the name once they became independent. Never ask Group A what they did between 1939 and 1945. Wait, is this really Group A in the World Cup and I had no idea? Oh wait, it's Germany, Japan, Spain, and Costa Rica. Close enough, I guess. So that's how Germany could have beat the USSR if they could have just defeated the Allies before invading the Soviets. Gentlemen, it is with great displeasure I must say, this will never work. Imagine not caring about how I, as Germany, would win in WW2. I read today that gaslighting is Webster's 2022 word of the year. That's ridiculous. Gaslighting isn't a thing. You must have read it wrong. I mean, come on, babe. You're smarter than that. You should have known this is not a real word. The actual Webster's 2022 word of the year should have been goblin mode. Gold coin proves fake Roman emperor was actually real. This guy who was purged from the history books by experts in the 19th century has now been confirmed as a lost Roman emperor. Impossible. Perhaps the archives are incomplete. This did actually take place recently, and all the Romaboos are now losing their mind. Ooh, look at these new coins, fresh from the mint. Wow, I look hideous. Doesn't matter, history will remember me as the savior of Dacia. Cut to the BBC article that just dropped. This really is quite literally the real life, babe, wake up, a new Roman emperor just dropped. My aunt's wedding versus when a new Roman emperor drops. I mean, it's pretty rare for the history community to get some new DLC. You gotta kind of go all out for this sort of stuff. A new emperor has been confirmed to have existed. He's just another 3rd century crisis military. Uh-oh. You know what? I don't even care. Let's take what we can get. We designed this tank with interlocking wheels so you can have a smooth ride whenever you go. Ah, thank you, German tank designer. Thanks! That'll help me aim and oof so many enemy tanks. Meanwhile, the logistic officer and the maintenance crew. I guess you just can't make everyone happy. Something about German over-engineering. The best man at a wedding today. The best man at a wedding in 16th century Scotland. Why is the only thing I can think of is he gets eaten or something during the ceremony. So I guess Scottish men would normally marry women from their small village, but if there were no women in their village, they'd have to steal one away. Obviously, this would be a little bit risky, so he brought in his best and most loyal fighter to go along with him. The best man would also defend the groom during the ceremony against the bride's family. The best man would stand to the right of the groom, hand on sword, ready to battle anyone who might charge up the aisle. I feel like Mr. Incredible shouldn't necessarily be uncanny here. Seems more like just bros being bros. Student, why didn't the British try to reclaim the American colonies after the Revolutionary War? Teacher, they were a bit distracted. Meanwhile, the distraction. Again, France comes to save the day. I know we as Americans love to clown on France, but not only did they help us in the American Revolution, but they also unknowingly helped to distract the British for the following couple decades. I mean, who really wants to fight another war on the other side of the globe when you have this short king running around causing chaos? Although there was the War of 1812, which was like the US, Canadians, and the British, but still, maybe the redcoats were not gonna put everything over there. Swords, backup weapons, getting all the romanticism and effectiveness in combat. Meanwhile, spears, which did most of the work in battles. And were just a whole lot more OP, right? Why would I want to come from within arm distance of you when I can just stay away and poke you with a stick? The Germans holding up Stalin's son. Meanwhile, Stalin, do you have any better hostages? Because Stalin really doesn't even care about that at all. I love how Stalin's son is like, hi, Dad! Poor guy has no idea what's gonna happen. But I swear it was right here! Oh, Candace, when will you learn? Nothing happened in China back in 1989. Alexander the Great, I will give you whatever you want. Diogenes, for frick's sake, you are blocking the sun, move out of the way. And this is an actual depiction of exactly how this whole thing played out. Complete Sigma male vibes right here. When you realize that these MFers were the first country humans. Personifications of countries and humans have actually been around for a lot longer than we'd expect, and they've always been horribly creepy. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor to present to you the PayPal states, and it's about time they've finally taken this all back. And didn't Elon Musk start PayPal or something like that? He's become the new pope of PayPal, or maybe he has like co-popes with someone else, something like that. Guys, don't translate knife in Latvian. Worst mistake of my life. I'm actually a little afraid to do it. I don't know what would pop up. Latvia, please don't let it be too bad. Okay, why? Why would it be the no-no Germans? There's probably a lot of history behind this, but okay. Alright, Latvia, what are you guys doing? Being liberated from the no-no Germans. Finally, freedom. But it's actually by the Soviet Union. Okay, maybe not so much. They was like, congrats, you're being rescued. Please do not resist. POV, you have survived the Paraguayan War. I mean, yeah, chances are you've lost literally every single one of your friends and every single one of your male family members. But life finds a way to balance it all out, I guess. You have unlimited waifus to choose from. Apparently, to this day, this country is still severely impacted by like the results of this whole battle. Who could have guessed losing 90% of your male population could be so devastating? Human civilizations when it comes to almost every topic throughout history. Meanwhile, humans when it comes to agreeing that music is awesome. Literally everyone loved music because pretty much everyone had music. Don't talk about any other subject because like tears and anger comes out all of a sudden. Why is No Mustache Man here? Can we say the same thing about dance? Of course there were different depictions of dance, but since all these cultures and civilizations had music, I gotta think they were moving along to it a little bit too. Let's just not ask anyone what is the best type of music, because that is exactly how you fall back into phase one. The Porsche boys want to drive versus the Porsche men want to drive versus the Porsche legends want to drive. I mean, this car company has really just fallen off recently, haven't they? They never sell the best stuff anymore. Why can't I go to a Porsche dealership and buy a tank? Like, it just seems like an obvious thing I can do. But he was right here! Okay, I'm starting to think this girl is just a little bit crazy. She keeps seeing things that definitely aren't actually there. I mean, do you really think Stalin just magically photoshopped this guy out of the picture? No, he would never do that. Live footage of Achilles after Paris shot him with an arrow. You ain't so tough now, are ya? I mean, out of all places to have a secret weakness, I feel like the Achilles heel is pretty good. You should have just found a way to put more armor down here, honestly. 18th century British people, behold my stuff. A rented pineapple worth about $8,000. Gotta admit, pineapples are pretty awesome, although they were a little bit more popular back in the day. Does this mean SpongeBob's actually British and from the 18th century? I was the one who delivered a final blow to you on the battlefield. I beat you at your own game. And yet, you are universally remembered as a genius military commander while I'm not famous outside of Britain. That doesn't seem fair, says this general from Britain that I have no idea about. Okay, I guess he kind of does have a point there, doesn't he? Poor Arthur Wellington. Universal, it's obvious that Donkey Kong is an illegal ripoff of King Kong. Who could possibly defend you in court? Meanwhile, Nintendo, and presto, it's Kirby. I guess this is a play on words because Nintendo used a lawyer named John Kirby to defend them in this case. Oh, Nintendo actually named the character of Kirby to honor him. It's fair to say if this guy wasn't around to help save Nintendo, video games as we know it would be completely different today. The 1881 World Tour of this Hawaiian king was his attempt to save Hawaiian culture and population from extinction. The king traveled with no security guards, only a small group of personal friends made the journey with him. Would you like a security detail on your trip trip, Your Highness? No, but make sure to invite the bros. I like how no matter what the culture or what time in history, bros gonna be bros. And it seems like a pretty good world tour. It's not like one of those rock band world tours where they really only go to like 2 continents. Well, maybe there are some similarities still, kind of. He only went to Cairo in Africa and didn't even touch South America. But, you know, he's a Hawaiian king. Like, what's he gonna do there? He really had a good time on his Euro trip, though. He was actually the first reigning monarch to visit the United States. And then only like 2 decades later, they got Hawaii. How I be looking at the Aztec warrior when he tries to puncture my European plate armor with his dollar store obsidian spike club. Oh, but wait, there's more. Just wait till the conquistadors get a load of the Aztec high priest. That guy's super powerful. That one dude in history who discovered gold and thought it'd be a good idea to make it so valuable nations would fight each other just to get it. Was it all a part of the plan? Or, I don't know, he seems like he doesn't realize what he just did. My wife is so tired of me commenting on every historical inaccuracy we see in historical dramas that now I just have a bell on my chair that I ring as an outlet of my frustration instead of talking about it. Okay, this actually doesn't sound like a very fun person to be around. I'm not gonna lie. I don't care how historically inaccurate Last Samurai is, I just want to watch the movie. And big thanks to my patrons. Drew, I'm stalking you and will kidnap you December 27th, 2022. DJ McSkillet, aPhatNarwhal. Drew's Argentinian $20 is
Bjarne
Electro. Bring back
Evan
Pryce.
GoodOldRyah,
Isaac Kilgore is
LuxembourgLover,
dead. Nova Gamer,
Veiotic,
Bassall
ortin,
69610,
Phresh
Allison,
Animations,
RyeThePie,
Scottish
Debbie, if you
Tokyo,
hear this, I love you. The
Lithuanian,
Mexican
Commonwealth,
Twickenhamster.
and why am I doing this?